Hello everybody, we're gonna have an important video here. I'm pissed off to say the least. That's an understatement, but that's the reality of life. I got filthy NDP and the thieving Jagmeet Singh stealing my intellectual property, making bogus claims across Canada for First Nations, giving a false narrative on the back of the work I did. And it's disgusting to say the least. But there's somewhat of a salvation here, but there's also a major worry, everybody. And that is First Nations falling for it, especially leadership, especially those sworn to the crown. Now, NDP, supposedly the Labour Party, that hasn't been the case for quite some time. Thomas Mulcair, that's pretty much the end of the Labour in the Labour Party. Now they're all about the crown. And I can tell each and every one of you, and why this is important to share. Jagmeet Singh got into NDP, got into Canada in the system because of his love of the crown. Understand that, everybody. This man is a loyalist to the crown. When I say crown, that means he's loyal to the first-class citizenry, the absolute pure autocracy. Way worse than any communism, everybody. Even with NDP's communist narratives that they bring forward, their anti-religion, all of it, the reality is, when you put in a crown on top of that, a crown colonial communism, you have a way more fascist, nuttier communism than even the official communism. That's how bad it is. That's how bad it is. A pure autocracy, a chicken shits autocracy. That's what Canada is, where the politicians hide behind a mythical queen, a representation of them. That's the reality. Queen Elizabeth has no say in anything. She has to sign. She's bound to whatever decisions the autocratic crown-listed positions in our Constitution dictate. That's reality. If you don't believe me, look at the former colonials of the British Empire since 1945. Since 1945, all of the breakaways who went independent, there was no major war, no major nothing. It was absolutely countries deciding that now that we're free because of the Allies, and I'm going to be outlining all of this to all of you by the real presidents and prime ministers of the time, the absolute crown monarchs of the time, and I'm going to go through what they ended before Queen Elizabeth ever ascended, and absolutely ended in Canada 110%, in none other than Newfoundland, everybody. Before Newfoundland had joined Confederation. Why did they join Confederation? They thought because they hosted King George VI's delegation, Sir Winston Churchill, and President of the United States, Teddy Roosevelt. This is reality. This was done in Newfoundland. I have it entirely, original signatures, original writing. I have it all. Bless the United States of America. Bless Joe Biden. Perhaps I should have tagged President Joe Biden. There's a lot of myths here. And I absolutely have Joe Biden and Boris Johnson reaffirming that very thing just 1 month ago in my timeline of work in with the highest legal institutions in the United States and the United Kingdom. Invited firsthand. The only Canadian, I might add. The only Canadian, and not a lawyer. And neither were the founding fathers of Confederation. Not all of them. And there were regionalists just like myself. I'm one in a million. And you know what? We're getting the job done, and we're awakening the Allies. Now, filthy Jagmeet Singh, the lion-thieving Jagmeet Singh, leader of NDP, thinks he's going to steal my intellectual property, steal my great work with Russia Federation that's long past anything filthy Jagmeet Singh could ever hope to accomplish. He thinks he can go to the General Assembly for Russia Well, Filthy Singh, you're going to be in for a surprise in 2 weeks' time. And I'm going to go live with that. I'm not going to spill the beans just yet because there's too many thieving sellouts taking my works and handing it over to Jagmeet Singh. But everybody, don't worry. The problem is when you steal somebody's great works and you don't have a brain to figure out what's going on or see it through because you didn't do the work, you make critical mistakes, fall on your face mistakes. That's what Jagmeet Singh's done. It's going to undo him. I'm going to present the truth of unions as well too. I'm going to take most of the Labour Party from the Labour Party in real platform through absolute democracy. His days are over, just like the filthy Trudeau. The turd's done. Jagmeet Singh, the filthy lying, thieving cheat, is done. This is reality in a couple weeks. Whether the media wants to or not, whether Trudeau and his foundations and his multi-connections in the multilateral universe of absolute pigs at the trough, filthy dictators trying to buy their way into media, getting in with CNN. The reality is I'm going to expose it in no less than 2 weeks' time for everybody. And we'll see if other medias want to pick it up or they're going to try and be the pigs at the trough. But the reality is, Canadians, all of you, First Nations, union members, you're going to see all of this as it really is by the real players, real world players. Not the false narratives of both left and right medias are giving you in both the United States and Canada. It's upsetting. It really is. It kills me. But the fruition, everybody, the fruition of the work I've done and these players coming on board, not with Filthy Singh or Dirty Justin Trudeau. They're coming on with me, an average citizen. The work's been done. I've been in monumental, highest academic institutions, legal systems of these countries. And you know what? I made it to the top of the mountain. That's the truth. Whether people like that or not, it's not about me bragging. I did this work for all Canadians. I went out for the truth, and I absolutely got it. And you know what? Beyond my wildest expectations, I really believe there's no way UK, they're in bed with this just like a lot of you. Oh, they're part of the swamp, the deep state. No, it's not true. And Biden, I got his signature reaffirming something so precious to each and every Canadian. And absolutely you too, all First Nations in your designations, Métis, Inuit, First Nations, and all the breakdowns from one side of Canada to another in every regional divide and every historic history. I've got you all of you. And you know what? It's sad what NDP's doing, using your tragedies to further their gains, to try and push you into a crown colonial system that absolutely genocided your people. NDP's guilty. Filthy Singh is guilty. Dirty MPs are guilty, and some are just being naively, pushed into it, and they just don't know any better. Nobody is showing them. And I promise you, Mumaluk, and I promise you, Jody Wilson-Raybould, I will deliver for you guys. You're going to get the email. Choose to accept it. If you don't, I guess you're just a yes master. You're the house slave that just loves the master, I guess. And it's sick because of the rapes, the genocide perpetuated by your government. Wake up. I have all the evidence. I've been building this case longer than any other Canadian in real narrative with the 5 allies. Way higher than the ICC. I had to go to the highest peak. I had to go there because we couldn't lose this. It was too important for all Canadians, and absolutely for the First Peoples. Absolutely. In real narrative. You can go back 2019. I gave my word to the Treaty Indians of Treaties 4, 6, 7, 8, and 10. And there's too many chiefs who know. The National Chief former knew. He had it in his hand. Lots of them know. And a whole bunch of my First Nations followers right here on my Facebook, if they haven't seen it firsthand, right from my hands to theirs, they've definitely lived it through with me here in the last couple years. Too many people know the truth of the works I've done. NDP, you may have an inside with media, you may have this liberal attachment that empowers you while you rape the labor class. I'm taking them from you, and I'm going to present a presentation of truth by way higher world leaders than any of you could ever come up with in your wildest dreams. I have a clear track record of all parties of the Federation of Russia that are speaking up right now. And everybody, it's not even there yet. It's only halfway. I need 2 representatives to further speak on it. And they must bring up the numbers. And First Nations know we need to prove the genocide of 5,200 children. And absolutely, I promise you, blue helmets are coming in. Russia, not at the highest tier, at the lowest tier, is saying 3,000. That's not enough at 150,000, okay? It's not enough. But don't lose heart. They're not the official players here. We're going to get there. I have faith. I have faith. With the Nazis and the genocide they committed, there's wedding band rings. People share that meme, and we know which families those are from. It was logged. We're going to get these records. We just have to back off the church narrative for the ICC. Don't listen to NDP MPs, even the Inuit. Mama Luck, she just doesn't know any better. And I will try to get to her. I'm trying. She just has to return my call. And I pray she does. I pray somebody out there can get to her. I pray there's somebody who knows Inuit who can get to her. Because I can't. I don't have the resources. Physically, I would go there. Maybe somehow at the end of the summer. I have a friend who's got trucking companies that go up there. I might be able to do something like that. I don't know. It's a tall order indeed. I'm of limited resource, but I'm trying. But we have to change the narrative. We can't let NDP strengthen the liberal narrative and absolutely destroy the ICC case. I'm so very, very close. Very close. I'm going to be presenting Boris Johnson and Joe Biden officially for all First Nations. NDP doesn't have that. I do. I have that because of the monumental work I've been doing for a tremendous amount of time and energy. Real intellectual work, intellectual property that belongs to me. I did that work. I'm sorry I'm not the hero people want to see, but that's the reality. That's the heart of this. I'm not a first-class citizen. You can't get a government first-class citizen attached to the crown to do any real work for you. It's just not in the Constitution. They're there to fuck you over. I'm sorry, First Nations. You should know this. You should know this for 300 years, less even a day ago, okay? I'm sorry. This is the truth. This is what you get. A dirty third-class citizen. Unions, brothers and sisters, this is what you get. This is all you get. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's not ever going to be a first-class citizen. It's never going to be a lawyer. It's going to be somebody who has to transcend that. And that had to be me. Nobody else was going to do it. Nobody. They're sworn not to do it. Please share, everybody. This is reality. Jagmeet Singh is not a friend of the unions. He's not a friend of any First Nations group. He's never going to be. He's a crown colonial. And First Nations, all Canadians, get this narrative out of your head that somehow white people all across the board are responsible. The first class is responsible entirely for everything. This is reality. It's always been that way. Victims who victimize. That's what happens. It's what happened to the First Nations and what's happened with the settlers to the First Nations. Victimized become the victimizers. We have to cut the head off the snake. That's the first class system, which is absolutely all politicians and those appointed, whether it's in ministry or absolutely in councils. I'm going to teach everybody the real civil society, what's underneath the belly of the beast here. I've already done the work years ago already now. Nobody else is going to do it. I'm the only one. I'm sorry. You know, I wish I was of means, but the chance of me being of means and doing this work are down here because you get bought into the first class system. And why wouldn't people? 99 out of 100 do. I'm sorry, everybody. I learned this long ago in provincial politics. People will lie to your face, tell you everything they want to hear, and when you need it the most, they drive the knife as far as they can in your back. I learned through fire. That's reality. We need a tremendous amount of good Canadians, pure of heart, intelligent, strong, that won't be bought, can't be beat, can't be broken. We need one such individual in each and every province. That's reality. A platform coming forward that no one's ever seen before in Canadian history for everybody. We're going to end the notion of left and right. We're going for the head of the beast, the top, the autocrats. We're going to take them out. I'm activating the allies. And nobody's got that narrative. Nobody. They can try and steal the intellectual property, but you got to be gifted and have done the work, read the tremendous volumes, participated in these world organizations and groups to get there. Take the beating, take the abuse. That's part of the learning. Jagmeet thinks he can just walk in and steal it. And Trudeau thinks, oh, we got enough smart people who can work around this. That's coming to an end. In just a few weeks' time officially, that's going to be game over. By the end of this weekend, tomorrow I'm presenting for all of you officially what all these people are going to get, just as I did before, backing up everything I've told you. And it's Joe Biden, Boris Johnson. You're going to get to look at the history of Joseph Stalin, USSR. You're going to see what was decided with them and USA and absolutely the United Kingdom and King George leading off with all of it. The king who never wanted to be king, the king who ended the crown, officially ending the British Empire forever. Not the animal they were. They haven't been. But that royal family gets paid a small sum by a handful of countries now. They're down to 15. 15. They're going to lose another one right away. And what? Queen owned their land too? What, she just gave it away? Who the hell would give away islands of land? Who would give away India? Who would... King Edward VII was Emperor of India. What? They just gave it away because they're nice? Nobody gives away nothing. King George VI ended it all, everybody. Absolutely. He ended the British Empire, never to be ever again. And I'm going to show all of you that. Completed, done, signed off in none other than Newfoundland, Canada in 1941, which led to them confederating by 1952. Remember that historical date, everybody. I talk about 1952 all the time. Why did Newfoundland come back? Well, because the crown was ended in Canada officially in 1952. There would never be a Lieutenant Governor or Governor General of Canada from the UK ever again. Newfoundland confederated. Look it up. Why'd they do it? There's so much, so many people need to know that they've never gotten in any education. And I'm going to be the first Canadian to deliver that for all of you, backed up by the greatest presidents and prime ministers in the world today, of none other than the greatest countries in the world today, the P5. I'm almost done. 4 out of 5. What are the chances I'm going to get Macron? No problem. You'll see. And I promise you it isn't jerk-off Singh's bullshit narrative, the biggest lie, cheat, thieving, loser, Unbelievable. And then he goes to try and wreck the ICC case, manipulate Inuit, go to far corners of the north to manipulate Inuit, to manipulate them, to manipulate an MP, lie to her, to screw over her people even more when there won't be a justice. Bless all of you, Ian, and so many others. Ian Bjorkman, for going out there, going to her and talking to her. All we can do is try. It's hard when people have been set in a direction they don't know any better. And I'm sure everybody, as the go-to for NDP, has always been, he's a racist and a pervert. But I can tell you, Alberta's Treaty Indians, no, none of that's true. I'm the only one to actually spend 2 days. And my word is my bond. By tomorrow, I'm going to finish a great portion of that. Within 2 weeks' time, you're going to see an absolute narrative nobody can take away. Those Russian organizations tied to Vladimir Putin, they're with me. They're not with NDP. That's another lie. You're going to see it all anyway, folks. Thanks. Bye now. Share. It's huge. It's important. We can't let NDP get away with this. Bye now.